By now, you've probably heard that the federal government has put a temporary freeze on federal spending. There's been a lot of talk about this, and I know that many of you are worried about what it could mean for you and your benefits. Let's take some time to talk about the facts and what we know so far without any of the unnecessary drama or confusion. I'm Nicole from Low Income Relief. We've been helping low-income Americans find assistance for more than 10 years, and our goal is to provide you with clear and accurate information so that you can understand the facts and know what to expect. So for those of you who haven't heard about the memo yet, let's take just a moment to explain what's going on, and then we'll dive into the list of programs that are and are not affected by this order. On Monday, January 27th, the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, issued a 2-page memo that ordered federal agencies to, quote, temporarily pause all activities related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance, end quote. This change applied to both foreign and domestic spending. The change was ordered to take effect at 5 p.m. Eastern Time today, January 28th. The memo thankfully specified that Medicare and Social Security were not affected by this change. So you can be confident that your Social Security and your Medicare benefits are going to be okay. However, there are over 2,000 other government programs that are administered by the federal government. Most of those are now paused pending review. The memo's wording was very vague, which has created a lot of unanswered questions about SNAP, LIHEAP, WIC, Medicaid, and other critical programs that so many people rely on. And we've seen a lot of conflicting information, even in the major news outlets. Some say that SNAP is affected, others say it's not. Some say that Medicaid is stopping, others say it's not. And that's why we wanted to create this video for you today, because we know there's a lot of confusion out there, and we want to help clear that up for you. I spent a lot of time digging into this today so that we could sort out what is and is not affected by these changes. I even found a clarifying memo written by OMB and published by the National Grants Management Association that clearly explains how your benefits may be impacted. So without further ado, let's talk about how this is going to affect you. Like I said, Social Security benefits are not affected by this order. That is a tremendous relief to the 68 million Americans who rely on Social Security benefits. Medicare is also not affected by this order. That's important because Medicare provides critical healthcare support for 66 million people in the United States. But going back to the issue we're facing today, your SNAP benefits are also not affected by this memo. The Office of Management and Budget issued a clarifying memo this afternoon that said, quote, any program that provides direct benefits to Americans is explicitly excluded from the pause and exempted from this review process. In addition to Social Security and Medicare, already explicitly excluded in the guidance, mandatory programs like Medicaid and SNAP will continue without pause, end quote. Now, you may have heard several outlets are reporting that Medicaid is and will be impacted by this change. For example, The Guardian has reported that many states are having trouble with their Medicaid portals today. However, OMB has clearly said that Medicaid will not be affected, so I am optimistic that those portals will be restored soon. This is incredibly important because 41% of all births in America are funded by Medicaid. This is a huge safety net for so many people. The new OMB clarification memo also said, quote, funds for small businesses, farmers, Pell Grants, Head Start, rental assistance, and other similar programs will not be paused. If agencies are concerned that these programs may implicate the president's executive orders, they should consult OMB to begin to unwind those objectionable policies without a pause in payments, end quote. This is helpful because it means that those named programs are safe from this pause. But it still leaves some questions because we don't know exactly what other similar programs are protected. However, I did note that earlier in the memo it says, quote, any program not implicated by the president's executive orders is not subject to the pause, end quote. Since the executive orders were mostly related to recent legislative changes that occurred in the last few years, I would assume that long-standing programs that provide direct benefits to individuals, like LIHEAP, would also be protected from this freeze. No mention was made about veterans benefits specifically, but I would also assume that the VA programs will also continue uninterrupted, since veterans compensation also provides direct benefits to individuals. There is still some confusion about other programs, though, like Meals on Wheels. These programs are funded by grants that are given to organizations, which then spend the money to create the meals and deliver them and provide their services. It is not clear if programs like Meals on Wheels will be impacted by the freeze. I personally don't think it will be, but I've seen some convincing arguments that say that it could be, so I don't feel comfortable making a solid call on that right now. We do know that this change could still have a substantial impact, especially at the local level. NBC New York estimates that states receive about 30% of their revenues from the federal government on average. The majority of that money is used for Medicaid, which OMB has said will not be impacted by this change, but the money also flows into other programs as well. It's not clear what local programs may be impacted by those changes at this time. Now, of course, a lot of lawmakers are pushing back on this because, as we've explained in other videos, it is the legislative branch of government that has the primary control of the federal budget. One of the questions at issue is the 1974 Impoundment Control Act, which limits a president's ability to refuse to spend money on things that Congress has already approved. Both President Trump and his nominee for the Office of Management and Budget have indicated that they believe the Impoundment Control Act is unconstitutional. As a result, some of the organizations that were going to receive the now frozen funds have already filed lawsuits challenging this change. Many experts expect that this issue will be escalated all the way to the Supreme Court. That means it will take some time before we know whether or not this new change will stand and exactly what the implications will be. In the meantime, I hope that this video has brought you some peace and comfort. This is a breaking news issue, and I can't update these videos, but I'll do my best to update our website at lirlinks.com/OMB with the most recent updates. We'll also put the links to the memos there so you can see your original sources as well. Please go check that out, and don't forget to subscribe and check out our other videos for more ways that you can save money and get free stuff. I'll see you there.